Religion, for as long as human beings have walked the earth, has shaped the rise and fall of civilizations. It has built empires, inspired art, carved out laws, and soothed hearts in moments of despair. But it has also been a spark for endless debates, controversies, and conflicts. In this reflection, we are not here to weigh the truth of one religion over another. Nor are we here to argue about the institutions, the churches, or the dogmas that dominate today's world. Instead, we will follow the guidance of great thinkers: William James, Ludwig Wittgenstein, Abraham Maslow, Robert Bellah, and others, and look deeper. We will explore the role religion plays in the life of the individual, and why it has been such a persistent force throughout all of human history. What is religion? Why has it been central to every civilization, from the dawn of time to our modern age? How does it affect the daily lives of individuals, believers and non-believers alike? What is the relationship between science and religion? And can even an atheist, in some sense, be religious? These are the questions that will guide our journey. Now, when most people hear the word religion, one thing usually comes to mind: organized faiths. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, systems with holy texts, rituals, institutions, and long histories. But this is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. Religion, in its fullest sense, stretches far beyond cathedrals and temples. To judge religion solely by the organized forms we see around us would be like judging art only by the paintings that hang in museums. For beneath the surface of every great institution lies something far more personal, far more intimate. Throughout history, thousands of small religions have flourished. Tribes with sacred stories, families with private rituals, and even individuals who practiced a personal faith that no one else shared. These were not mere curiosities. They were lived realities giving meaning, comfort, and direction. Another common association with religion is belief in gods. A single god, many gods, spirits that govern the world. And yet, this too is not universal. One of the great religions of the world, Buddhism, thrives without the worship of a god. So if gods are not essential, then what is? What, at its very core, defines religion? The philosopher William James once offered a profound answer. In his classic Varieties of Religious Experience, he defined religion as the feelings, acts, and experiences of individual men in their solitude, so far as they apprehend themselves to stand in relation to whatever they may consider the divine. Notice how he leaves open what the divine might mean. For one person it could be God. For another, it could be nature. For yet another, it could be the mystery itself. The unknown, the infinite, the ineffable. James emphasized solitude, the deeply personal nature of religion. Even in the grandest rituals of organized faiths, the aim is to move the heart of the individual, to stir emotions, to awaken a sense of connection to something beyond oneself. And indeed, the great religions of history were born not in committee halls or bureaucracies, but in the solitary experiences of prophets, visionaries, and seekers. Robert Bellah, another towering thinker, described religion as a system of symbols that, when enacted by human beings, establishes powerful, pervasive, and long-lasting moods and motivations that make sense in terms of an idea of a general order of existence. Here again, the emphasis is not necessarily on gods, but on symbols, emotions, and experiences. Whether we call it the divine, or a general order of existence, what unites all religions is their attempt to answer the great existential questions. Who are we? Why are we here? What lies beyond life and death? What gives life meaning in the face of suffering, tragedy, and inevitable loss? And here we uncover one of the driving forces of religion, the deep human anxiety about death. Behind the routines of daily life, our work, our ambitions, our distractions, there lurks a silent awareness. At any moment, we or our loved ones may vanish. This reality is so terrifying, so paralyzing, that if we dwelt on it constantly, we would not be able to function. so we push it aside, bury it under the noise of daily concerns. But in quiet moments, after the death of a loved one, during a sleepless night, or even in a passing spell of boredom, that anxiety rises to the surface. And when it does, human beings turn, again and again, to religion. Religion provides stories, rituals, and beliefs that offer comfort against this abyss. It tells us where we came from, what our lives mean, and what awaits us after death. It provides a sense of certainty, of order, in a world otherwise filled with uncertainty and fear. But then came the Enlightenment, the scientific revolution. And suddenly, religion faced a new challenger. Science began to explain the mysteries of the cosmos with a precision and clarity never before imagined. Lightning was no longer the anger of gods. Disease was not the curse of spirits. Little by little, the old certainties crumbled. Many declared that science was replacing religion, that belief was no longer necessary. But was this ever really the case? Abraham Maslow argued that while science can, and must, disagree with many of the specific answers religions have given, the questions themselves remain. The longing for meaning, the hunger for certainty, the need to grapple with the mysteries of existence. These are not erased by science. They are part of human nature. Wittgenstein, the enigmatic philosopher of the 20th century, put it simply: the solution of the riddle of life in space and time lies outside space and time. There are, he said, things that cannot be expressed in the language of science. They reveal themselves in other ways. They are what is mystical. So, religion, in this broader sense, does not compete with science. It answers different questions. It addresses what science cannot: the meaning of life, the purpose of existence, the fear of death, the longing for transcendence. But how does this differ from philosophy? Philosophy, after all, asks many of the same questions. The difference lies in the method. Philosophy relies on reason, on arguments, on logic. Religion, on the other hand, often springs from myths, revelations, and feelings that may be beyond words. Its power lies not in rational proof, but in its ability to move the heart, to transform despair into hope. Yet if religion is so personal, why do human beings so often gather into vast organized faiths? Why Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism, beliefs shared by millions? Dostoevsky gave us a haunting answer. He wrote, "So long as man remains free, he strives for nothing so incessantly and painfully as to find someone to worship." Human beings, he suggested, long not just for meaning, but for shared meaning. We crave to belong to something greater than ourselves, to know that we are not alone in our worship. And what of atheism? In recent centuries, disbelief in God has grown. Some believe this marks the death of religion itself, but perhaps this is too narrow. If religion is only defined as belief in a deity, then yes, atheism rejects it. But if religion is, as James and Bella argued, about the search for meaning, the attempt to answer the existential questions that haunt us all, then atheism is not a rejection of religion. It is simply another path. An atheist may not pray to a god, but they too seek comfort, purpose, and a way to face the abyss of existence. In the end, whether one belongs to a great organized faith, or follows a personal spiritual practice, or even rejects belief in gods altogether, the yearning remains the same: to find certainty in the face of uncertainty, to find meaning in a world that offers none freely, to find, as William James said, a new sphere of power, a new range of life, a redemption of the interior world which otherwise would be an empty waste. And that, perhaps, is why religion endures.